Heading out with the camera is usually about taking my time, exploring a location and coming away with a number of images to choose from. At least that's usually the case where I'm concerned. But in this series I've been doing something a little bit different. The idea is simple: head out, find a composition and take just one single image. And no second chances, there's no backup shots, just one single photo. When you can only take that one photo, choosing the right composition, that becomes the real challenge. Every single year I'll make the trip out here to Elmley Ferry. It's become a bit of an annual pilgrimage to this part of the Kent coast. The reason that I'm always drawn out here is this ruined boat wreck that sits on the banks of the river. I've got in my head the perfect shot that I'd love to capture of this particular subject here at sunrise. It's a bit cloudy this morning, so I don't think it's going to happen today. But I'll keep persisting, I'll keep coming out here, because I know from other shots that I've grabbed at other locations that whilst the perfect shot might be a bit far-fetched, there's always the chance it might happen. Today though isn't the day for grabbing that perfect shot that I always hope to capture when I come out here, for two reasons. The first, the tide's not in far enough, it's not enveloping the subject, we don't have the sunrise, we don't have the conditions to get the perfect shot. And secondly, it's the one shot photography challenge. Coming out here to a familiar location, to a familiar spot, grabbing a familiar subject. It's not a challenge. The challenge is I'm supposed to take myself outside of my comfort zone. So coming out here to this particular location, grabbing a shot of a subject that I've captured plenty of times in the past, doesn't work at all. It's interesting actually, thinking back to the last few times that I've done this challenge so far this year. Bodiam Castle, it was about resisting the obvious composition. St Thomas Becket Church, it meant walking away from the shot I'd expect to take, especially from somewhere so isolated. And in the woods, it was about trying to find any kind of composition at all in a scene, in a location that I have a difficult relationship with regardless. Each place that I've ventured out to so far, it's been a different kind of challenge, but all with the same rule that restrains me with this one-shot challenge. I won't lie, it does feel really weird coming out to Elmley Ferry and not focusing on the shipwreck. I mean, it's right over there, and I'm ignoring it. But I suppose if you go to the same places and you just focus on the same shots each time, then even that's going to get boring quite quickly. I've been walking along the river and I've got a power station in the background, and I've also got a row of trees in the distance, both shots I might be tempted to take on a typical trip out with the camera. However, this morning for this one-shot photography challenge, they seem a bit too much of a risk. I mean, it's not the end of the world skipping those two shots and not focusing on the shipwreck. There'll be plenty of opportunities to come back out here in the future. And like I've already said a couple of times this morning, I want the perfect shot of Elmley Ferry. I've got a couple of nice shots already. I now want that perfect shot. And the conditions this morning, they weren't perfect as to what I've got in my head. So, no loss. Walking aimlessly along by the river, and I am reminded of the last time that I came out to this part of the coast. It was roughly a year ago. Came out here about May time, lovely early morning it was, beginnings of a heat wave. Because of that, there was not a single gust of wind in the air. Beautiful it was. Because as a result, there was a reflection, there's a glass-like reflection on the water's surface. The irony is, I come out here to shoot the Shipwreck. That's the main reason why I come out to this part of the river. But my fondest memory of coming down here is capturing an image that I least expected to be able to capture. And I guess the lesson is, there's always going to be opportunities when you least expect them that might end up presenting themselves. There was a small part of me when I made the journey out here this morning that I might get another morning such as that. I knew the chances were slim. It's quite windy out here today, so there's not that beautiful glass reflection on the water's surface. It also means that as a result, I'm going to have to work just a little bit harder to find the one shot, the one image that I'm out here to find. The trouble with walking next to the river out here at Elmley Ferry is it feels like you're in the wilderness a little bit. So I've walked along the river and I've come to this little harbour village that I knew about, but I've never really ventured out to. I've found it a little bit too far to head out to. I thought today, why not come out here? And it really does feel like a proper introduction to come back here in the future, specific to explore this little harbour. And I think as a result, I've got my composition lined up, ready to go for this month's one-shot photography challenge. I've got the live view up. Let me talk you through the composition as a whole. First things first, we've got this path, this grassy path leading us into the shot. River on the right as well, doing the same. Boats on the left, buildings on the right, focusing in on those buildings. A proper me type image. Settings that I've gone for: ISO 100, f8 1/30th of a second. I've got the 24 to 105mm on the front of the lens, 35mm for the focal length. A bit of a moody scene overlooking the harbour village, not too much colour in the sky there for this particular shot, but no matter, we work with what we've got.